Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Virtual Friday. I am virtually in Chicago, Illinois. Yeah, of all places. Well, I'm not really there. I'm really in little old Hanover, Pennsylvania. But what we're going to be doing today is actually looking at some housing styles, different parts of the country. Chicago is actually pretty famous for its architecture. So you'll notice on the screen here, I have Canvas up. You've probably already found Canvas if you have found this video. But right now we're in October 2nd to 6th because today is Friday, October 6th. You'll scroll down to today's Canvas. You're going to go to activity number 2, finding pictures of colonial American houses. Now, we've done an activity like this twice before. Once was yesterday in class when you were finding some pictures of Washington, D.C. Well, that's one of the reasons we did that yesterday is so we could remember the skill of finding such pictures. You've also done this before by looking up jobs that people had in early America: an apothecarist, a baker, a blacksmith, a cooper, a chandler. We did things like this before, and we'll do that again today, except today we're looking for housing styles. The jobs we did, the houses, all kind of relate to our trade book that we'll read later in the semester when you read a work of historical fiction where the author has researched things like the jobs people have and the houses they live in, the clothing they wear, the food they eat, the transportation they use, the health and medicine situation, all that kind of thing. Well, we're kind of preparing for our trade book that comes later in the semester and also learning something about ourselves, comparing early America to modern America. It's an important social studies skill, being able to compare and contrast and see the continuity and changes over time. So today we're going to work on finding some pictures of houses in colonial America compared to modern America. Picture in the bottom left is a colonial American house, very steep roof, windows, things are not lined up symmetrically, big chimney, maybe a front door on center with just 2 rooms. Well, compared to today, where maybe we've got very different housing situations, no matter what you live in, your house says something about you, the place and the time you live. So I'd like you to find a number of different types of pictures, some from early America, like a Plymouth, Massachusetts house. Also, could you go ahead and find a image of Paul Revere's house in Boston? Big house, actually. He had a lot of kids, needed a big space to live in. Paste a copy and paste image from a New York City house in 1700. Betsy Ross's house in Philadelphia, and Benjamin Franklin's house in Philadelphia. They'll be very different from each other because Betsy Ross was not a wealthy woman, especially as she went through husbands pretty quickly. Benjamin Franklin was a wealthy man. His house looks very different than hers. Jamestown, Virginia, our first British colony that worked. Could you find a house from the 1700s? Also, then, Williamsburg, Virginia comes a little bit later on, and there's a big organization that has recreated what Williamsburg might have looked like. You might see that a Jamestown colony house and a Williamsburg house look very different from each other. Could you find a house from Charleston, South Carolina in the 1700s? Again, because it's in a different geographic region than the North, it looks very different. This is my house. Does it have a style? I guess. But houses do have styles like, well, different hairstyles. Boring middle-aged white guy hair, or a lot of you as young kids have very much more interesting hair. Hairs have different styles. Clothing has different styles. And well, if you want to have some entertainment, go look up your parents' high school yearbook and see, oh, you can't even believe they were wearing those clothes. Well, styles change. What you're wearing today is probably different than what your parents were wearing in high school. Cars have different styles. Sports cars, SUVs, economy cars, luxury cars, pickup trucks. Well, houses have styles in the same kind of way. So what I'd like you to do is post a picture of your own house, either using Zillow.com or Google Street View. Copy and paste a picture of your house. Maybe we'll try to figure out what kind of style it is. Now, I realize some people, if your house has only been built in the last few years, maybe it's not on Google Street View. Maybe if your house hasn't sold in a long time, it may not be on Zillow. Do the best you can to find your house, especially on Zillow. It's pretty interesting if your house has been sold in the last few years. It very likely will have pictures from a previous owner. And it's kind of weird to see your house, but somebody else's furniture and decorations in it. Then you're going to find images of a few different styles of houses, like a federal style house, a Victorian style house, a bungalow style house. I like those. I want to have a bungalow style house someday. An American four-square house, a ranch style house, a split level house, a bi-level house. Those are all pretty common here in the Hanover area. So you'll be looking up some different styles of houses that we live in today. You might see there are a lot of similarities to early American homes and a lot of differences as well in the homes we live in today. So that's your assignment. We'll work with this later on, later when we get to our trade books, and you'll kind of see where we're headed by doing different housing styles. All right, have a good day. See you on Tuesday.